Hey YouTubers, Penguin here again, coming to you with another piece of interesting Nintendo history. This is another piece of test equipment for the Super Nintendo system. This is my first test cartridge for the Super NES, and this is by far probably the most common test cartridge that they made for the Super Nintendo. This is the burn-in test cartridge. It also has controller, super scope, and mouse test on here. There you can see it's got a glossy label, and it has a little famous Repair Mario on there with the Nintendo World Class Service Lunchbox, his little cape and tie, bow tie, and his screwdriver. So let's pop this in and have a look at this thing. This thing's got some pretty cool features on it. Alright, here you've got the basic menu screen on here. It says Super NES Service. It's got 5 different tests you can do. Controller test, a sound module test, super scope test, Super NES mouse test, and a burn-in test. And this is revision D of this. I believe there's A, B, C, and D as far as it goes. Made in 1992. First we're going to take a look at the controller test. There you see, it's just going to ask you to press buttons on there to make sure your controller is working. Pretty much the same as it does on the regular Nintendo cartridge that I showed. And this is a good little program to have to make sure, like, if you have old controllers that you don't know are working or not. Sounds like an elevator. Alright, on to test 2. Sound module test. This is the SHVC and SNES sound module test. And you gotta wait 12 seconds before it loads everything, I guess. These sounds can get annoying pretty fast, believe me. There's a classic one. Sounds like Missile Command almost. Here we go, finally some music. And then it'll stay on this test 7 on here for a couple minutes and play that song. Alright. Super scope test. If I had a super scope, I would plug it up to use on this, but I don't. But that's the screen for testing the super scope. Now let's go down to the Super NES mouse test, which I figured out something kind of interesting on here. On this screen only, if you press the L and R buttons, it will bring up the software engineer who actually programmed this. It says software engineer down here. Khanhle. Khanhle. Really weird. I've never seen anything like that on a test cartridge. But here you can, if I had a mouse, I would plug this in too. But you can test the electronics, the buttons, and the cursor movement on it. Which is going to be, yeah, failed test. Of course, because I don't have a mouse plugged in, but. Alright, and for the last test, we'll go to the burn-in test, which this is definitely the coolest test out of all of them. I saved the best for last, so enjoy. Tests all the working RAM and everything on the system. Bullet Bill, Fireball, Mario, Panda from Nintendo. I like the little Service Mario. He's pretty cool looking. And there's some box art from Super Mario Bros. 3 that was off of the Famicom box. Coming up here, we've got the epileptic part of the cartridge, I think. There's Mario spinning. Oh, there you have it. The burn-in test cartridge. Nifty little cartridge. Does a lot of different things rather than on the old Nintendo NES test cartridges, where you had to have a separate cartridge for each test. With the greater RAM capacity and storage on the Super NES cartridges, they could fit all the tests onto one cartridge. So there you have it. Another really cool piece of Nintendo test equipment. And stay tuned for my next video on some of my next-gen console games.